Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is going to be our episode recap for Double Agents, episode 4. As always, my name is Zach, and I'm joined remotely by my best friend Jake.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight?
And locally, analogically...
How's everybody doing tonight?
You know, I'm not going to answer that, but locally with my best wife, Hannah.
Best wife?
How's everybody doing tonight?
Only wife.
Technically,
Light of your
best and
life.
worst. It's got to be both because I only have one.
How dare you?
Have you ever noticed how Hand shines brighter than any star?
Every night when I'm trying to sleep.
Okay, that is the kind of energy I need gassing me up. Hello.
You should see her feet.
I'm looking
They're
at them right
wearing
now.
socks because I'm cold.
So, yeah, we didn't record last night like we typically do. The plan was initially to record last night, like we always do, and then release the Devin interview that we did last week out to the public today. We're recording this Thursday night. It's been on Patreon for a couple days. The reason that Devin interview is actually supposed to happen a lot earlier. I'll get to that in a little bit. But there were some issues there. And then last night, just in the midst of everything going on, I know we have listeners literally all over the world. In the U.S., it's a very strange time. It's unlike anything any of us have ever seen in our lifetimes. It's demoralizing to watch, and we're not what you go to for your political hot takes and all the things like that, but this is beyond that at this point, and we are all American citizens, and what we saw yesterday was a disgrace and
Un-American?
Completely un-American on all sides, and it reminds me of third world countries that you would watch and be like, wow, why can't they get it together? And it's like, oh, well, this has been building for 4 years.
The third world countries are probably looking at us saying, wow, wonder why they can't get it together.
It was either Zimbabwe or Zambia. I can't remember. Apparently we have sanctions imposed on one of them because we deemed their democratic process not up to par for trading and stuff, and so their president came out and like, I can't believe this is the country that put sanctions on us, and it's like, oh, that's where we're at now. So yes. I don't know where you guys live, especially in the South. It's very misinformed, it seems, right now.
It's very tense. It's very divided. It's very willfully ignorant.
Yeah.
A lot of people that we know, family members, close friends, no longer close friends, have devoted themselves to ideals that I can't wrap my head around. And
it's not even just that. It's also just being like refusing to open your eyes to what's happening and only blaming everyone else. And again, like, if you follow any of us on social media, on our personal accounts or anything like that, you know where we stand on things. I've stopped accepting people on Facebook, and I've deleted over the last year or two dozens and dozens of people just to kind of like weed out certain worldviews, just because I don't need it to weigh me down. But this is one of the things that it's going to creep into your life no matter what. And, I think I've had it a little bit easier than the other two here because I have proactively made that effort to just get rid of people.
I have actually, I think I've unfriended up to 3 to 5 people on Facebook, and I've unfollowed a couple of people on Instagram. I mean, like, my Instagram, I'm pretty picky about who I follow. I follow a lot of people, but it's a lot of very lighthearted things and businesses and restaurants and things like that. Like, I don't like following a lot of, like, people. My Twitter's the same way. My Facebook, however, that's how I communicate and get referrals for my job, so I can't necessarily just go on an unfriending spree because I need it. Like, it doesn't matter to an extent what people choose to believe, money's money and I need business.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and like even if it's like somebody that was very much on the wrong side of what happened yesterday, even if they can like see my business and just know what I do, they may even just in their normal daily lives just be like, oh, Hannah does this to someone else who can, like, I have a job to do. So
Yeah,
I can't just undo people. Jake's the same way.
Can I jump in here?
yeah.
Let's be clear. And I told you guys before I got in here. This has all been particularly hard on me today. I've had conversations with my family, friends, and this is not a political issue. This is not Republican or Democrat.
It's not conservative versus
This is not
liberal.
conservative.
Yeah.
This is human decency, and it is incredibly saddening. Incredibly saddening, one, that kind of behavior and what took place yesterday was encouraged, and then two, was supported. And then on top of it, to hear people that we have personally been close to defend it to an extent when...
Well, not to an extent. Some of them just outright.
Like
And
fully.
let's be honest. If that were black people, brown people, whatever race you want to call out, it's a massacre.
My mom actually,
Absolutely.
My mom texted me that, and she does not align with me on a lot of
Most
political
things.
ideas, but she was like, they are in the wrong, and it's completely unfair that if they were people of color that they would have been shot, and that's
Yes.
what would have happened.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
And it is white privilege and white power in motion, and it is so sad, so incredibly sad to see. I mean, Zach, I make the comment to you all the time that, like, I got two eyes, man. I got two eyes, and I see it. And I'm incredibly disheartened, but, I don't know. I'm speechless. Like, I really don't know what to say. And I don't know.
I feel like Jake and I especially have just been completely overwhelmed with it because like Zach, at least your parents, your dad for sure, he may lean a certain way, but he's very, this is what's happening and this is wrong, and he'll call it out.
Yeah.
Your mom, it takes her a minute to get there, but she's getting there. My parents, I love my parents, but I even had a really hard to listen to conversation with my mom. Called me today, and
your mom commented on some stuff I posted,
and I'm getting the opposite as what you received. Most of our friends and family believe that it was not even Trump supporters that did this. And then
it's just you surround yourself with people that are only going to say what you want them to say. And that's including social media.
Exactly. And you'll only choose to listen and hear what you want to hear. And I tried telling my mom how it was. I was like, this is actually not true. And she's like, well, maybe we're both wrong. And I said,
It's all aliens.
I can't do this. It's just, I don't know if it's because we're in the South that it's everywhere we turn. But I personally have not had many people that can kind of help keep me grounded. My mental health where it has been very delicate for a while now. Like, I feel myself getting to a not okay place, and yesterday was awful, and today has been awful.
So let me round this out by just a quick word of advice to everyone, including you two, because it's helped me. I think, honestly, just knowing myself and knowing how I deal with things mentally and whatever, I'm not trying to like brag about anything, but I'm not as susceptible to like outside influence like that. Like when you guys see it a lot, especially from people like and you're close to, I know just knowing you guys' personality, you guys take it more to heart.
It hurts my heart to see.
And I get that, but just my personality is like, well, I can't believe they're that dumb. And then I just kind of let it roll off me because I know it's not how I feel. And let me plead to all of you, everyone listening. If you are constantly bombarded by negative things that affect the way that you live your life, that affect your mental health, your attitude, your just your overall mood, if it's people on social media sharing things and posting things that you don't agree with, you have no responsibility to keep in touch with them. Like, we all feel like we do because everyone you meet used to always be things like, oh, just add me on Facebook, add me on Twitter, whatever. But, we're in a world now where everyone is always connected to everyone at all times, and we need to realize that it's more important for yourself to be okay and to be in a place where you're doing good than to feel like you need to know what some guy you met at a grocery store 3 weeks ago was up to. Because I'm going to tell you, I have not accepted friend requests from other than patrons who I know. I have not accepted friend requests on Facebook in years. And it's because I don't want to have that. It's better for me to not know and to just live my life knowing whatever than to be like, wow, I can't believe how much a piece of crap my neighbor is. I would just rather just get going.
We've
I know
talked about our
neighbor
neighbor
is not
before.
that
Our
way.
neighbor is great. We
Yeah.
love her.
She has a star guy that texts her about when the stars are great and stuff.
And then she calls us in the middle of the night to tell us.
So, that's all I want to say. Guys, take care of yourself. You don't owe anyone anything. I get that there are certain business-related things and stuff you need to do. If that's the case, if you can't unfriend them, go in, unfollow them on everything. It's fine. They're still friends with you. They can still interact with you, but you're not going to see the stuff they post. It's so much better for your state of well-being, and it's not to get in an echo chamber of stuff that, oh, I just want to hear this. It's just so you, again, we're at a place in time where everyone can reach us at all times, and I don't know if humans were made to be like that. And it affects everything that we do. And so just guys, just be happy. Live your life. Just take it easy.
Love people. Take care of one another.
That's the main thing. Love people. Be supportive to the people around you that need it. And I'll tell you, I've deleted all these people, and I have, we have personally, all three of us have mutual friends who, I don't think our relationships will ever be the same again.
We don't think their brains will ever be the same again.
Yeah, and it
makes me look at some of these people differently.
We've had friends of friends reach out and be like, "Hey, what's going on with these people?" And it is good to know that you have friends that maybe you don't keep in touch with as close as others that feel the same as you. But the main thing is do what you have to do to be healthy and to be happy and love the people that you care about the most and be there for them, because this is all a very strange, weird time. Is that a good way to end this?
Yeah.
Okay, you said yeah.
Okay.
And then, just wait a second.
Just one last thing, because I had this specifically today. If somebody tries to get up on your social media stuff and spread lies, false information, misinformation, propaganda, call them out on it.
You just ask for proof. That's the easiest thing. Just say, okay, where did you hear that? Where's this cited from? And then 9 times, because that's the other thing with an older generation especially, anything they see, they treat it as facts just because it says something on there.
I mean, you got to think, when they were our age, everything that was on television that was reported was true.
But there's also only 3 channels, so
exactly. And nowadays it's not like that. Nowadays you can say, "Oh, the sky's green today," and then everybody believes it.
Jake, did you have one last thing?
No, I was gonna say you have the perfect segue.
Well, I don't know if it's the perfect segue, but guys, the reason the Devin interview didn't come up earlier is because I've had a testicle infection.
And you're bragging about it everywhere.
It's been incredibly painful.
You're smiling so big as you tell this.
Because it's the most absurd thing, and of course that's how 2021 would start.
You've had it for how long?
Since Sunday.
Yeah, you've been feeling really bad for a few days.
Yeah, it's been awful. So we'll talk about that more. We're going to record a Patreon exclusive podcast this weekend.
And not only did that happen to you,
yeah.
I had the most bizarre first interaction with a girl I was supposed to go out with this weekend that has now been called off, and I will get into that on our Patreon exclusive pod. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah, Jake and I have had a busy week.
We've got I think
Listen. Jake and I talk about this in the mornings. After he finishes teaching his last class, he comes over to the store next door, and we sit and we talk about it.
Yeah, so we've had a very eventful start to January 2021. Regardless of the outside world, just localized, including in my balls. There's been
localized to
very close to home.
To one, yeah. And guys, I don't know if you've ever had a testicle infection. It's one of the most.
You have it if you're a woman.
That's true. Incredibly painful and annoying things you can imagine. And it's not an STD or an STI or anything like that.
Nerds kept asking about that.
They did. They were double checking on that
several times.
Well, again, I'll tell more about it this weekend. The good news is, got more blood work and urine samples yesterday. The infection is gone out of both, so the antibiotics worked. I'm on the mend, but good God, it's
not fun being married to someone with an infection in a ball.
I don't know.
You probably couldn't do it or something.
I don't know.
No, he was just so irritable. He was such a pain to be around.
Jake, I'll tell you this, Jake. Me and you have talked about it a little bit, but
yeah,
it felt like only guys are going to understand this, or only people with testicles, I guess, whatever. So it's like if you got hit in the balls, and that initial burst of pain, once it kind of subsides, but then you have that lingering pain in your stomach. It was like that all day long for 4 days. And the only thing that would stop it was Tylenol, and it hurt to touch anything, like blankets or whatever. It was awful. You can't sleep. You can't do anything. You felt nauseous all the time.
You did.
Yeah. So
you in general, if you're listening to this, you felt nauseous all the time.
0 out of 10. Don't recommend it.
Oh yeah, it's a rough deal.
So if you get the choice of whether or not to get an infection there,
don't do it.
Don't do it. Maybe.
Also, apparently, it can be caused from STDs. So watch out for that, because you don't want it.
Maybe literally don't do it.
And I'll even get into how I dodged some of those bullets, right?
From me, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into the recap for Total Madness episode 4. We do hope you guys listened to the Devin interview. Hannah wasn't actually able to be a part of it because she was coughing a whole lot, and that's just
coming off of your common cold there.
And I thought she was going to say she was coming off your testicular infection.
Mm-hmm. She got one too.
Coming off of a common cold, I had a lot of congestion in my chest, and so I could not stop coughing more than 30 seconds to a minute and a half at most. It was really, really bad. And then, if we had gotten a new episode Wednesday night, I would not have been able to record then either.
No, I would have just been another boys' night, and I would have done her notes. But again,
I'm really sad that I missed out on the interview, though, because I liked Devin. Our first interview with him, whenever we first started the podcast, was a lot of fun. He's a fun person to talk to.
Yeah, it's been over 2 years, and this time we did video as well. So if you aren't subscribed to us on YouTube, just search Smashing Heads Podcast on YouTube and subscribe to our channel. We don't put every podcast up there. Every once in a while, we'll do video versions of our normal shows. We try to do video with the interviews as much as possible. Every so often, the people we're interviewing don't want to do that. But, subscribing to that, subscribing to us on iTunes and all that helps, and, leaving reviews. So let's get into Double Agents, Episode 8.
Speaking of Devin, we start off with a good old quote from him saying he's the strongest man in the world.
I get fresh off a win.
Maybe some fantasy points involved there.
Probably.
Do I? Yes, I have Devin.
Yeah, I know. There's going to be a lot.
Yes.
By the way, last week, just a quick recap. Hannah scored 30 points, I scored 35, and Jake scored 25. So it's really close again. It's identical.
It's working. This system is working.
But it's the exact same amount of points each of us had week 1.
Yeah, it's exactly the same as week 1. The outlier is week 2 when Hannah got 115 and I got 0. And so
I'm still in the lead, though.
Yeah. Well, again, that's at the very end of the podcast. So
listen all the way through because the fantasy points are a lot of fun.
Yeah. So he does start. It's a big win, and we talked about it in the interview with Devin. He's got a really impressive elimination record, like better than a lot of the people you would expect.
And he's taken out some hard hitters. Wes this season, he took out Johnny Bananas.
Yeah. And he is. He's not like again. He if he was going up in Hall Brawl like against Fessy, like what we see later in this episode, he's not going to win that unless for some reason he can just like outrun him.
Or Fessy trips or gets hurt or something.
The thing is, he just he is just a delight, and I know that some people hate him. Shout out to Connor, one of our patrons. Can't stand him, but he's a big Josh fan from Big Brother.
Is it because last episode Devin yelled out "Big Brother sucks"?
Probably, which even Fessy thought was funny, which we pointed that out. There's a lot of good tidbits in the Devin interview because I went back and listened through the whole thing.
And I could hear you across the house giggling.
It's funny, like Jake. It's a funny interview.
It's a lot of fun.
There's a lot of little tidbits. I'll tease a couple of them if you haven't listened. Apparently, a handful of people brought like simple addition books to like learn how to add and subtract to like keep their brain up on it, and he wouldn't give names on that, but he was like, "Come on, guys, like you should not need this anymore." And there's a lot of good stuff on there, so check that out. Right after that, you had a quote from Nelson saying his ego is over the roof.
Eagles.
Hey, he had a couple in here
Eagles.
this episode.
I heard the Eagles went over the roof.
I think he said his ego is over the roof. He meant to say his ego is through the roof.
Look, I don't mean to make this a gender thing, but Zach, have you noticed that Hannah hears a lot of things that we don't, and we hear a lot of things that she doesn't?
Like we hear the same thing. And by the way, Hannah and I watched this together last night. You watched it later than us by yourself, so this isn't like a TV issue or anything like that.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to again like girls are dumb. That's not what I'm doing. Like, I'm just
is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying
you think
like
I'm stupid or something.
No, it's just such a common occurrence on here that like you hear one thing and me and Zach both hear something not that.
Okay, well, regardless, I heard eagles flying over the roof, but that's okay because even if it wasn't eagles, even if he said egos over the roof, that's one of the fantastic, phenomenal Nelson. Fantastic. Did I already say
that? You said
fantastic, phenomenal. Funny.
Phenomenal's a P anyway.
Phenomeno.
Phenomena.
You know what it is? Jake, you know what it is?
Yeah.
Scientifically, girls just have weirder shaped ears, and that's just
you're making that
that's
up.
why
You're
they hear
pulling
difference.
that out of your butt right now. You have no scientific proof.
Hands ears are shaped kind of crescent. They got a bit of a crescent to them, like a crescent moon.
My nostril holes are in the exact shape of hearts, both of them. If I turn my head back, you can see it.
Anatomical hearts.
Zach, can you confirm that?
No.
Okay.
So, also, one thing we did not talk about last episode, because I didn't find it out until after last episode, which feels like forever ago because we had a week off. Lolo Jones is 38 years old.
Oh, yeah. You and I talked about this last week because you, I was upstairs sitting at the kitchen table, and you were downstairs doing something, and you paused the TV, ran up the stairs.
I think she's put in a lot of.
This is another one of my favorites here.
You ran up the stairs
this.
because you stopped at the railing.
You ate all the cookies, Zach.
You stopped at the railing. Your head peeked over, and you were like, "Guess how old Lolo Jones is?" And I was like, "I don't know, maybe like 34 or something." And you were like, "She's 38."
I don't think my entire world came to a halt, and I was like, Hannah, can you?
Oh my God!
That's exactly what happened.
No,
that's exactly what happened. He freaked out and couldn't wait to tell me. It was a whole discussion. We talked about it for hours.
Yeah, well, what you missed, Han, was that he called me immediately after. He was like, "Can you believe this?"
Yeah.
No, but seriously, like she. I don't know.
oldest rookie for sure.
Yeah, but also she doesn't look anywhere near that. She looks way younger. Which, I mean, good for her.
The reason that I found out about it is because she was like, oh, guys can always go after someone 10 years younger than him, but if a woman does it, it's whatever, which I do agree with. But I was like, wait, how old is Lolo? And then I was like, she's almost 40. And I was like, she's probably
in awesome shape for almost 40.
She's a professional athlete.
Also, there is not a thing in the world wrong with a cougar.
I didn't call her a cougar.
No, but she tweeted, she's like, there's a double standard there where
I feel
older
like
men can go after
cougars
young.
are like 45 and older to me.
Yeah, moms.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I always thought it was a woman much older. Like, she could be 38 and go after somebody that's like 20.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but I always just personally felt like it was more of the like 40 and older.
Well, if they get married once she hits 45,
let me just put a stop to this. There's not going to be anything that happens with Lolo and Nam because I don't know this, but there is zero communication between them, and we'll see that come up later on. But yeah, it's interesting. 30 years old is by far the oldest rookie. I mean, most of the people are done with this show by like 30.
35.
I'd say like 30. Most of them are done. Like the 35-year-old, like Wes, are like outliers.
Well, Cara Maria's over 30. She's like 32 or 33.
But she's an outlier. Most of these
Johnny Bananas is.
Okay, good God.
Yeah,
let's name all the...
You're going to name like 4 people
Yes.
when there's been 40 of them be done around 30.
There's been a million people that have been on this show.
Also, you're talking about like mainstays. Like you're talking. Yeah.
I'm talking about people that have come in and done like 4 seasons, and then they've never been heard from again, and then they're like...
Darrell.
No, good Lord. God.
It just came to my head. I had to say it.
Anyway, so Fessy and Tori are vibing. And
well, I don't know necessarily if they're vibing. I know.
Oh, they're vibing.
Jake. Shut up. I know Fessy admitted to having feelings for her, but he said in a confessional that he knows that she's with Jordyn and he would never try to step in on somebody else's woman.
And as of right now, as of recording, they're not together anymore, Tori and Jordyn. And also, as of the show filming, Jordyn is one of the all-time greats on the challenge, and Fessy has not lived up to that yet. I know it's only been 1 season, and he's got the potential to be. But as of right now, Jordyn is the guy in the challenge. Like, no one wants to see Jordyn. Like, you don't want to go against him. Not that it has anything to do with Tori. I just wanted to point out that I know Fessy's kind of this like revered big guy.
But competitor-wise, looking at the stats, looking at...
Just heart-wise, like no one's going to outcompete Jordyn.
Yeah.
So Teresa kind of pulls Jeyyy aside, which we haven't had hardly anything from Teresa this season. And she tells Jeyyy that she feels like they might be targeted. And that does come into play later. I was like, there's no way they would show this now and then not bring it up later. We get to all this later when Josh, for some reason, picks a fight with Jeyyy for 0 reasons.
This guy. Oh, my God.
Okay, when we get to that...
There's a lot.
There's a lot.
Which, by the way, there's a lot of good Josh content in the Devin interview, so check that out. After that, we get to Liv, who I forgot was in a sling, and
I forgot Liv was on the show.
Well, she hasn't really done anything, and like she was in a sling after the same thing that Peanut Butter went home for.
Peanut Butter.
We got to talk a lot about her too. There's a lot of good stuff in the Devin interview. Like Hannah hasn't listened to it yet, obviously, because probably never will.
No, I heard a little bit of the Devin interview as you were editing it because I was sitting on the couch and I could hear it, and like I heard a few things that were really funny, and so I will go back and listen to it. Also, I really like Devin, and I'm really sad. I'm really really sad I couldn't be in that interview.
Well, one thing he brought up was he has like the utmost respect for Nicole, and he was like, the reason she doesn't get to do a lot of these shows is because she saves up her vacation time from the firehouse to film these, and he's like, she only gets to do them like every few years, and so that's why we haven't seen her since like Vendettas or whatever it was.
So that means if she were able to, she'd be on these a lot more often.
Yeah, but because she has a real like emergency job, like she can't get off all the time to go film.
That makes it suck that much worse that she went home so
it
early.
Sucks she took that time off and then she got hurt, and so she can't work when she goes home. She's gonna have to just recover. And
that sucks.
Yeah. So again, there's a lot of good stuff in that interview.
Speaking of Devin, we get Devin.
I was not about to speak of Devin. I'm still on Liz.
Were we speaking on Devin?
Who's Liz?
Liv.
Hello? Why'd y'all just stop talking?
I was just
because
gonna say,
she's just looking at me like she's like speaking of Devin, and I didn't have any notes on Devin just then.
I didn't even take any notes on Liv. My next note after Teresa,
she goes home in a
Teresa
minute.
talking to Jeyyy was just that Devin came up and asked for the origin of Big T, like why she was called that.
Which, by the way, in the interview, very complimentary of Big T, and told Jake and I that he's like, I think you guys are going to be surprised by her this season.
I mean, good.
And we were begging for it. We're like, great. Like, that would be amazing because we just haven't seen the competitor side. Like, we get that everyone likes her and whatever.
Everybody that we've interviewed has talked and raved about how great she is and how much they love her. But as viewers of the show, we just haven't seen anything that makes sense for her to keep getting callbacks.
Yeah, she unbeknownst to us, or probably most of the people on the show at this point, very tragic family stories.
Lots of trauma.
I mean, I wouldn't say trauma, just like death in the family, and like that's stuff that's hard to get over. I forgot what country she said she was from, because she said it was like in their culture they
don't do adoptions.
Yeah, they just like the like aunt or whatever like takes care from then on, and that's how she moved to the UK. And I had no idea. I didn't know that about her. I didn't know her dad died when she was like 17. I didn't know
her brother died.
Yeah, the thing with her brother. Like that's tough no matter who you are. So the fact that she can like still be like this like kind of bright spot,
very bubbly personality. Yeah. Like, I mean, if you met her and if she just didn't tell you about her story, you would never know. Because,
no.
I mean, like, she
and
just...
it didn't come up, which she went home, like, episode 1 of the first season, but it didn't come up last season at all.
Yeah. I can't be the only person that, like, seriously teared up a lot at that. Or
I didn't
cried.
tear up, but I felt for her.
I wanted to reach into the TV and just, like, give her a really tight hug.
Yeah, you can't do that.
It's impossible.
It's the opposite of the ring. You would need that. You would need to go into the TV like the girl in the well came out of the TV. She's looking at me like she doesn't know what I'm talking about.
No, I watched The Ring. Does that mean I need to go inside the back of the TV?
No. Also, in that same time with Big T, for some reason, Devin just wants Amber M to leave, and he's just like, "Get out of here!" Like,
did you catch what he said? It was like immediately after Big T just
he's talking about Eagles.
Spilled her story. It was like a real heavy moment. She's crying a little bit. Amber is sitting next to her on the couch crying a little bit. And then Kyle's like, wow, this is really, really deep. And then Devin is like, he just immediately cuts it, and he's like,
well, we don't know if it was immediate. The way it was edited was immediate.
He tells Big T and Kyle that he really loves them, but that Amber's still on the fence for him.
Which is funny. Like, again, I know a lot of people don't like Devin because, like, oh, he's a jerk or whatever.
That was funny.
He brings a lot of comedic relief to this season. If him and Kyle had a show together, I would watch every episode of it all the time.
I would watch the crap out of that.
They should have got them two to do the official challenge podcast.
Oh my gosh, as much as I say
I would listen to
I
that.
don't listen to our podcast or other challenge podcasts because I feel like I get too much.
I don't go back and listen to ours.
I get like oversaturated in the challenge stuff. If Devin and Kyle did a challenge podcast, I would listen to every episode.
Devin had a podcast for a little bit. He was doing something for a minute, and when he interviewed with us, he actually said he's been jumping on a handful of like sports betting podcasts and stuff like that.
He talked about sports betting in our last interview with him.
I don't know if it was betting, but we talked sports in this one too.
God, man, you've got a heck of a memory on you.
I do have a really good memory.
Except when it comes to quotes.
Listen,
yeah.
Another quote from Devin, because Amber apparently, like, I thought it was funny that he just said Amber's on the fence for him. I mean, they don't even really know each other.
And
I thought it was funny.
As far as rookie, like, hazing. That's in very loose quotes goes. That is not hazing.
Yeah, that's so just not even that serious. And she like took it to heart and like started getting really mad. And I was like, why are you doing this? And then, you know, like they start going back and forth. And then he just yells at her. He's like, you're ruining my night. And I was like, here we go.
He did just have a big win. It was, and then he took a vote. It was like, who wants Amber to leave? And nobody would vote.
He was the only one that
and he's like, you've made your choice. He's like, I'm out of here.
I thought that whole bit was funny.
It was funny. And like, yeah, it was mean. But it was funny. It wasn't one of those things where like
it's spiteful.
In like 5 years, we would look back on the season and be like, "Oh, I can't believe
what a jerk."
That was uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, like that because we have had that with past seasons, but like this is just like a guy that's kind of drunk and is coming off a big win, and he's just being like annoying more than anything, and so he goes to sleep, and then I guess in the morning she tells Nelson
and Corey.
Okay, yeah, great. That didn't have anything to do with then Nelson...
Well, she exaggerated to them.
But not to the point that Nelson exaggerated
No,
it.
but like that's the thing. All she had to do was exaggerate it because Devin had originally told Amber, he's like, stop talking. It's you either leave or I leave. It's one or the other. It's my night, so I want you to leave. And she's like, well, I'm not leaving. He's like, okay, well, then I am. And so then she runs off to Nelson and Corey, and she's like, he was screaming.
Like 8 hours later.
He was screaming at me to get the F out of there, and la la la. And the way that she exaggerated and phrased that, she strategically did that because she knew that if she used
I think you're giving her too much credit.
Yeah, I don't think there was any strategy in that at all.
No.
I don't get it. No. Strategy from her.
Then you don't understand a woman's brain. When a woman tries to turn people against someone, you got to use a certain phrase and you got to use certain words. And she knew the way that she said that.
I think you're still being very generous.
No, here's the thing. It is not that hard.
I don't disagree with you there.
I'm not saying this is some mastermind. It is not hard to go from either you leave or I leave to running off to your friends who you know are going to buck up and say, he told me to get the F out of there, and he was being so mean, and he was yelling at me and screaming at me. That is elementary level manipulation. Every girl is born with that ability.
I just don't believe there was like some. I don't believe she woke up that morning like, ooh, I got a plan. I think she was actually, her feelings were hurt. I think she was bothered by it. I think she knew, right? Like, I think she knew, like, you know, like, it's probably in the back of her head that Nelson's probably going to say something, but I think more than anything, I think her feelings were just hurt.
I do agree with you that, yes, that can happen. I also think that you're giving her too much credit because I don't feel like she has an ounce of strategy.
I don't feel like I'm giving her any credit for this. If it doesn't matter who it was, if it were any girl in the house doing this, I would say this was very basic level manipulation. Manipulating Nelson, who we know Nelson is not very faithful in relationships with women, but when he has a friendship, it's to the bone.
Yeah, but does she know that? Bone. We know that. Does she know
everybody
that?
knows that. If she's watched any of the previous seasons, she would know
But we don't know if she has.
But again, here's the thing. Like, at first, Devin was saying he didn't really trust Amber because he thought she was really snaky, she was really sneaky, whatever. And I didn't think so until I saw what she said to Nelson and Corey. And I said, oh, well, maybe she is kind of snaky.
I mean, I didn't personally pick up on that at all. I just saw...
Because you're a man.
Now, hold on a second. You can't just generalize all women and then generalize all men.
Yes, I can.
No,
I'm a general.
No, you can't just say all women have this master plan to do this and then say, well, you're a man, you don't get it. You can't do that.
You're a man, you can't hear what I can hear.
It's because of science-shaped ears.
Yeah.
I heard the word eagles.
So anyway, Nelson goes in and then takes it up a whole nother level, and he's like, she's crying to me right now. You made her cry last night. She's still crying.
She was literally eating cereal.
Yeah, and Devin's like, what are you talking about? Like, he's still asleep when this is happening.
He said, this can't be real.
which is a great way to deal with someone like Nelson.
Which what a funny response to that. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, it's just escalated to the point of Nelson's upset for no reason, and Devin could care less and is literally just like, I'm not talking to you about this right now. Go away. And Nelson's not in a position of any power. Like, Devin is the one that's in power as of right now. I mean, it doesn't really affect the daily or anything. Well, it does, but not in the effects of currently Devin doesn't have power to do anything as far as voting or anything like that. So
I think Nelson thinks that he does have some power.
I think saying Nelson thinks is giving him too much credit.
Hush. I think Nelson thinks that he has some power in the house because he's so tightly aligned with Corey.
Again, I think you're giving
and
him too
with
much credit.
Tori.
God, Han came with all the conspiracies tonight. Oh my God!
All those people on Facebook are rubbing off.
Man,
Listen, everybody on Facebook is a conspiracy theorist, but the only kind of conspiracies that I like are aliens, Bigfoot,
And who's got manipulation powers?
and the challenge.
women's manipulation skills.
So we get into the daily, which is called drone control, which we find out pretty straight on. Not a physical daily at all. Like,
It's the opposite.
it couldn't be further away from wrestling each other on top of a truck.
We just got done recapping Fresh Meat not too long ago.
Yeah.
This is like
last week.
Was it last week?
Well, that's when the
It's
episode went up.
Okay.
Well, for us, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Specific, Zach.
Yeah.
This is like a more extreme version of something they would have done on Fresh Meat, I feel like.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It was like spy themed, because people use drones to spy on things or whatever. So I get the angle they were coming from, but like
It was still kind of goofy.
you had
That's
one
my
team
point.
you had one team that finished. If Devin and Tori don't finish,
Nobody.
who wins? Do they
Yeah.
just like, all right, guys, we got to do this over again, and you got to try harder?
Or whoever was in the air the longest before. I don't know. I don't know.
I think if that's the case, they'd just be like, you guys are all so bad, and no one could compete. Like, even you couldn't even get to the code that no one has the power. No one's going to know who votes for anything, and it's just going to be two of you who are going to be going in.
It's not even like they could be like, okay, well, everybody has to go again. Like, they crashed every one of those drones. There's no way.
I guess they could have done a second round and had them like switch positions.
Yeah,
like,
but some of them like seriously crashed their drones. Like, what if they couldn't fly again?
well, there was more than one.
Yeah.
They didn't have like one.
They didn't
drone.
come in with just the two drones.
I guarantee you, they had dozens of them.
Okay.
Um,
Everybody crashed them, so I was thinking each
There
team
ain't no more left.
got a brand new drone.
They probably did, but they had
that was
backups too. I mean, for sure.
Enough for everybody to go a second time?
Probably. I mean, again, just from a production standpoint, you got to think through stuff like that. Like,
Jeez, how cheap were those drones?
drones are not, especially these are not expensive ones. I mean,
You think that's why they were so hard to fly?
I think you're giving the drones a lot more credit than they need.
I can't stand you.
So
Listen.
No, let me go. Liv is out. Liv,
Yeah, I was going to get to
but
that.
I don't trust you.
She got medically DQ'd.
Yes.
Because she's in a sling. But what a daily.
Is that why she got DQ'd?
It's not like, God, you're in a sling. You got to get out of here. It's because she had like a messed up shoulder.
But listen, like what a dumb daily to get disqualified.
Actually, yes, she could have competed.
like she could have done this.
She
That's
could,
true.
but I guess she couldn't have gone into an elimination. That's what you're worried about. But like, she could have held up with her other hand the VR headset.
Yeah.
But she didn't even go with them, so I guess they DQ'd her beforehand. So Liv's out. That means Michi is a rogue agent, which means he's going to get the pickup off of whoever's left after.
But
the
he also
elimination.
can't compete in this weird, goofy drone.
I
daily.
have zero reason to believe he would do better than anyone else. Like, the only team that did well was the like power couple that like Devin formed after the last thing, and everyone was awful at it. Devin and Tori were the only ones that didn't crash, and then he was able to memorize the things and then
land the drone.
well, he didn't land. She landed it, yeah. and they got out of there. They escaped. No one else did it. Like, there's nothing else that happened in this daily except that TJ made fun of everyone.
Yes, he laughed at everyone. Nam and Lolo can't communicate with each other.
Exactly, which goes beyond the daily.
Yeah,
I see. These are the kind of notes Han makes right here.
Did you guys get that good quote from TJ?
Now hold on a second. Han, we all have our favorites on the show. Let's be clear, but Han will specifically point out that Nam and Lolo can't communicate because she's got the hots for Nam, whereas hold on a second.
I wasn't talking.
I'm on Nam's radar right now, though.
Whereas if it would have been, I don't know, Darrell and Amber, that couldn't communicate, she would not have made that note.
No, I probably would have.
And I love Han's consistency in that. I just do. And I don't know what's going on with Han tonight, but you are wired.
What did Darrell and Amber do in this daily?
You were going to say wild.
What did Darrell and Amber do in this daily?
They sucked.
That's so. Like,
everybody sucked.
Yes.
Yeah, they did. Anissa had to.
If you're so enamored with Nam, as far as just like attractiveness of rookies, I would say Amber B, like Darrell's partner, is.
She's so cute.
She's really pretty.
She's got that good hair too.
And butt.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Booty.
Anissa apologized to Fessy after they royally screwed up, and then Fessy was like, "It's okay," and then TJ goes, "The opposite of good."
Yeah, it was just a bad. Like, everyone sucked, and Anissa thinks that Fessy made her do it so he could not have any blame.
Yeah.
Which may have actually been true looking back on it. The other thing is, again, Devin interview. I'm going to keep referring to it because I just listened to it back again. He told us that CT was a big like IT guy, and he was like he's a lot smarter than you think, and he like tinkers around with like electronics and stuff. And we got CT saying he's been playing video games since the Atari and all that stuff. It didn't really work out for him.
Yeah, they sucked just as bad as everybody else did.
Yeah, and so Devin and Tori win. They won because they're the only ones that finished. I mean, that's all it was. And so they have the power going forward. And before we get into anything else, we're going to take a quick break. We are back, and so Devin and Tori won, and they start talking, and Tori tells him, that she wants to go in specifically against Amber M, which
the one that Devin just got into it with,
not the one that I just talked about, the one, the tiny one from Are You the One? There's a lot of ones happening, and I don't blame Tori. Like, that's a good matchup for her in almost anything. Because one, we don't know if Amber's good at anything, like puzzle-wise or anything like that.
She's also like half Tori's size.
Yeah, like she's very, very small, and
she's, as the kids would say, whittle.
Now what now?
Whittle.
Is that what the kids are saying these days?
Little kids, right?
Oh, I thought you were saying like
this is what all the cool kids are saying now.
Yeah.
Like, where's my whittle teddy bear?
I thought you're doing like that like
so
Japanese girl like uwu thing. No.
I don't like that you just did it with your fingers. That made me feel weird.
Do y'all not know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know. Kids have speech impediments. We all get it.
We will teddy bear. That thing.
Worse.
They can't pronounce their R's.
We also got here Tori talking to Anissa, and this is the first little like tidbit of information that we get where Tori kind of wants to do the opposite of Cam's plan, which was throw in all the rookies into elimination first and get them out of the way, so then it's all the vets that are going for,
which has been basically the format of the show for the last 15 years. It's always target the rookies, get them out, make it hard for them to like stay around, and then they kind of earn their place on the show. Cam's whole thing is to just get out, which again I do think stems back to CT not partnering with her. They go into that like bubble club thing that they have on the property, and Devin and Tori are talking, and they basically Devin's like, all right, we get 3 names each that we're going to protect, and then no more than that. And they all start throwing out names, and then she names her 3, he names his 3.
Did you catch their 3?
I mean, I didn't write them down.
Tori had Anissa, Corey, and Nelson, and Devin had CT, Nam, and Kyle.
Yeah. I mean, those are... I expected 2 of the 3 for Devin. We haven't seen him interacting with Nam a lot.
Yeah, but maybe just because Nam's an outlier and he hasn't really seemingly gotten super in cahoots with anybody other than Lolo, just because that's his partner.
Again, maybe he's kind of like in on it with them. He likes hanging out with them, but then she starts saying, "Well, I got to do this and this person too."
She wanted to throw Nani in there too, and he's like, "No, you get your 3 and that's it.
Like, you're gonna save the whole house if you do it this way." And so then we see Fessy just trying to hook up with another girl.
Put the moves on Gabby.
Yeah, who didn't even remember she was on here because she hasn't done anything and has not. Like, I don't even remember seeing her in this episode. Clearly, she was in the daily, but didn't remember what happened.
She's partners with the wrestler
Leo.
Yes, is that right, Jake?
That's his name, Leo Rush.
But is that who she's partnered with?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Because Liv
That's
was with Michi. And so it is kind of hard to keep some of these new people apart. But, yeah, Fessy's trying to go after Gabby and...
Since he can't have Tori. That's the only reason he's going after Gabby.
But apparently she's not falling for it. And then everyone else in the house is like, it's not good what he's doing. He doesn't have game. I don't remember who said that.
Yeah,
Teresa? I don't remember.
No, it was one of Gabby's friends because they were like, Gabby's actually really smart. She can see right through what he's doing, and he has no game. And then somebody else said the same thing, and I was like, does he really not?
I don't know.
I feel like that upsets you, Han.
No, I just like I hadn't noticed. I guess I don't pay that much attention. I don't know. Hey, I do have a question for the two of you.
Oh boy!
In the Nelson and Corey dance-off,
yes, I did not make any
who
notes on
do you
this.
think won that?
Nelson started like throwing it back, didn't he?
Yeah, and then it ended.
Well, I mean, what wouldn't end that dance off but a throwback or a,
Throwback or a.
He's got booty.
Oh yeah, he got them thick legs.
Oh yeah,
He does have thick legs.
So after the club, Tori just for some reason I feel like just the way she was acting, she felt like she'd been drinking, and obviously she had been because they'd been in the club. But she just went up to Josh and was like, "Hey, Devin's gonna come after you," and it's like, well, that's a strange way to do that. And
Which, I mean, Josh probably already knew, though.
But she basically tells Josh everything they just discussed in the club. And after that, I guess that's what kind of started Josh's paranoia. But after that, he goes outside, he's talking to Casey, and Jay's there. And then he just manufactures completely. He's like, I don't like this vibe that's happening.
Well, he looked at Jay real serious, and he's like, "You're cool with Devin?" And then Jay took like a long pause before he answered, and he goes, "Not like I am with you." And Josh is like, "Don't make me an enemy. Don't make me an enemy."
By the way, Casey is like, she's cool with Jay, and like, there's no bad blood with Jay.
Dog, if I'm Casey at this point, I'm just like, all right, dude.
I've got some notes. When Nani is the voice of reason for you later,
yeah.
Like, all right. So anyway, he starts getting into it, Jay, and Jay has a strange line, which is like, "I will step in your mouth. I don't give a." And
there's fantasy points involved there.
I don't really know exactly what that means, but I get the gist of it.
The way his mouth just scowled in anger as he said it, I was like, man, he's really like seething right now.
It's so stupid. It's the egg quesadilla all over again. Why is there an argument here?
About that.
Josh manufactured another rival for no reason.
He's on another planet. He just is.
Even Casey tried to bring him back down to earth and said, she's like, "Josh, you are roguing the heck out right now." And he's like, I'm not roguing. There's this bad vibe. Blah, blah, blah.
And Jay's just sitting there, not doing anything.
And then Jay was like, "I'm not playing this game that you think I'm playing." And then Josh just leaves.
Well, he's convinced. He's convinced this guy's against me now.
Yes. So Casey leaves, and then Jay's like, Josh, like, I'm not trying to go after you. Like, sit down here. We can talk like adults, whatever. And Josh's like, I'm not feeling it or whatever. And he closes the door, and Jay's like, what a big baby. I don't remember his exact words, but
he did call him a big baby.
He was like, you are such a baby. Like, why is this a thing? Like, if I were in this house, I would be so frustrated with Josh, even if I wasn't involved one-on-one, because I would be like,
why are you doing this?
You're literally, which I've got some notes on that. Remind me when we get to the elimination. Nelson, apparently, I didn't watch it. Nelson had an Instagram Live last night where he brought on Jeyyy and Darrell and Wes and like one other person, and they talked through some of that. And I got some things about Josh. So, Josh threatens Jeyyy. Then Josh goes in the next morning and tells Nany and Casey that he doesn't want to work with Jeyyy. For some reason.
And Nany is like totally flabbergasted
that
he's mad at Jeyyy.
And
she's
then,
like, why Jeyyy?
And then, so Jeyyy kind of walks by, right? And,
yeah.
Everybody, the four there, it's Casey, it's Josh, it's Nany, and then Jeyyy walks by. And they're like, hey, let's talk this out. And then Josh, I swear like an 8-year-old, I gotta brush my teeth.
Yeah,
he's just like,
it was like I can't be in the same room with this
he
guy.
leaves, and then Jay's like, I don't even know. Josh is literally going out of his way to create more enemies and turn allies against him, and then freaking out about it.
I said it last week. I don't know how any fans or stands, I don't know how y'all do it. I don't get it.
Well, even from like talking to the people that are on the show, like apparently in real life, Josh is a nice guy, but everyone we've talked to that has been on the show with him has been like, this guy lives in another world, and it's like, yeah, that's kind of the vibe we get every single week, and like it would be so frustrating if you had any fringe ties with him in this game, because you're like, well, what's going to happen next? Is he going to think TJ's just out to get him and like want to fight him every time? Like, that's not out of the realm of possibilities. And
you just picked this stupid elimination because you knew I wouldn't win.
Again, I got some things about the elimination, but after he leaves, Nany is just like, this guy. He's way too emotional. He plays like,
he takes everything to heart.
And I'm like, guys, when Nany, who we have watched for 10 years,
and the two of you have criticized,
for
doing this exact thing.
If you go, and I didn't remember it until we went back and rewatched these old seasons, Nany has been one of the most consistently paranoid, emotional people that has ever been on this show. Just thinking everyone's out to get her, not in the same way Josh is, but always upset for seemingly no reason and things like that. And when she's like, this guy needs to calm down, it's like, you need to take that to heart. And so that happens. All that's made up in his mind. He leaves, doesn't get anything resolved, even though Jeyyy was not like, get out of here. I'm talking to them now.
Jeyyy was like, let's talk about this and figure out what's going on.
Again. So the deliberation happens, and
Nelson tries to tell the house that it's definitely going to be a guys' night.
And I made a note. I was like, I think Nelson's right. I was like, I think it's going to be a men's elimination because
Michi doesn't have a partner.
And Liv already went home, which is what they did last week. They switched it up and it was a guys' elimination. And I was like, or there's a possibility it could be both, because like we're going to have to start cutting these teams down. And there was 30 people on this cast. And so that was about the only thing I had from the talking area.
Well, I had one more. Well, it like even Nelson's boy Corey thought that Nelson was kind of full of crap by trying to tell the house to be afraid of Amber M.
No one's afraid of Amber. Amber is like 11 pounds and like 5'0", and like literally, if it's anything physical, I would put a year's worth of my salary against anyone else in the house.
That's my money too, though.
So
I don't know, but and then after that, Leroy asks Josh if he were to go into elimination, who would he want to go against? And then he's like, I don't want to say. And they're like, why?
Because Josh is okay. I'm not even going to start it. So everyone starts voting. It kind of goes how you expect. It's between Jeyyy and Teresa, and then Josh. Or wait, not Josh, but Nelson and Amber M.
until Kyle
Yeah, and
votes
then-
for Fessy
which,
again.
which I didn't catch at first, but
I did, because I was like, I can't believe he did that.
it is funny that Kyle just has this vendetta against Fessy now and doesn't care what his alliance is doing, doesn't care who's voting for what, doesn't care who can see it. He's like, Fessy is my vote from here on out until one of us is gone. And
Which I think it's just funny. I love Kyle. I love Kyle.
yeah, Kyle's great. Like, again, I would love to have him on the show. I'm pretty sure I've emailed his publicist, and I have not heard back, so it was like a year ago. I probably need to do that again.
Everybody go
let's do it
spam his
again.
email.
So the compromised agents were Nelson and Amber M, and not a big surprise. And then Devin and Tori start talking about what they want to do, and at first they're kind of like on opposite ends of things, and then like they kind of start talking it out, and Devin's like, yeah, well, we should do this. And she's like, you know what, you're right. Let's just do this.
Well, originally Tori wants to throw Josh a bone because she's telling Devin, she's like, I know you want to throw him in, but if we save him from this elimination, we can get him, to not vote for us or say our names. And Devin tries to tell
Devin's
her.
not worried about Josh voting for him.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
Devin like tries to reason with Tori. He's like, that's not how this works. That's not how this game is.
And she's like, you know what, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way, like, because of how Josh is, there's no way that if they pardoned him for this, that he would keep his promise not to vote for either one of them.
By the way, Devin and Tori act like they hate each other. They both really like each other in real life, as far as like they know that it's a fun rivalry. And also, shout out to whoever did the marketing for Are You the One Second Chances, because we had no idea that it was not another season of Are You the One where they brought everyone back. It was like an Amazing Race type challenge show. And,
Really?
Yeah, we had no clue until Jake and I talked to him about it. And we're like, yeah, they shouldn't have called it Are You the One Second Chances, because we just thought it was they were bringing cast members back that they had already used. And it was like they had daily things, and then there was a big pool of money, and Devin and his partner won like 3/4 of the money. And
I feel like we're
Wow.
giving away an awful lot about that Devin interview.
you know what? We'll go back.
Apparently, there's a lot more information that's in that interview.
There's a lot in that interview. It was an hour and a half with Devin, and so again, bad marketing. But if that comes available somewhere, I probably will watch it because it's just Devin and Tori going against each other the whole time. After all of this, Josh is talking to Fessy in the hot tub. And they're talking about things. And Josh was like, I know my elimination record is what it is, but I know what it takes to lose, and that means that I know what it takes to win. And like that may have not been the exact quote, but that was what he was saying. He's like, I've been down there. I know what it takes. It's like, bro, like you haven't done anything. Like,
Has he won an elimination?
No.
I know, and
No.
he's like lost ones he was favored in. And
I know he lost against Jordyn in that crazy tug of war one.
It's just funny that in his mind he's talking to Fessy and he's like, you know what? I know what it takes because I've been down there. Now, yes, I have been sent home every single time, but I know what it takes. I didn't do it, but I know. I know what it takes. And
That's
so
wild.
after that, they go into the whatever it's called. It's not is it the crater this season?
Well, before that, you're skipping over one of my great favorite notes I took. One, Nelson regrets picking Amber as a partner, finally. And then Corey and Nelson do this weird hand-holding thing.
Well,
and then Nelson gives us another quote. He is frustrated that people keep undersizing Amber.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's undersized, but he meant like underestimating.
But they keep undersizing her.
Apparently,
He also said, maybe I'm just dumb and just didn't get the quote. He said, I can't sacrifice myself for somebody else because then I'm never going to get anywhere. Wait a second, I get that.
I was trying to think. I was like, wait. I was like, what?
I know. I was like, that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
All right, good.
You're right.
So
Sorry, Nelson.
What I was gonna say is apparently the rumor is that video part from Nelson, I guess what Nelson said on Instagram last night, is that he had a dislocated finger And that's what he was like showing Corey in that weird hand holding thing.
They did not.
Yeah, they didn't show it at all.
Elaborate on that. So I thought they had like this weird handshake where they just hold each other's hands.
So we get to the crater or whatever it's called, and immediately hall brawl. You know what it is? It's one of the most. It's probably the most like
synonymous.
It's the most like identifiable right away. You know what it is.
There's no guessing about it.
It doesn't matter if you are new to the show or what. You know it's hall brawl. It's the most infamous elimination on the challenge, and they get down there, and TJ starts talking to Devin and Tori, and he tells everyone, "Hey, Nelson and Amber M are the compromised agents," so they come down.
Natalie, for one, was really excited to see them be the compromised agents. I don't know if you caught that.
Did not.
She
I
had,
have
like,
zero notes on Natalie.
They cut to her face as soon as they announced the compromised agents, and she had like a really big smile.
Han, let me ask you this though: what's really the consequence of that really big smile?
I don't know. I was really surprised that she wasn't able to hold it. She was like that excited to see them be the ones that were voted in.
Okay.
So he's talking to Tori and Devin, and Tori's saying she wants to go in because she wants to go against Amber. And Devin's like, no, this is not the time. And TJ's like, all right, do you guys want to go in or do you want to send someone else? And Tori's like asking for clarity. Because I wrote down, like, he hasn't said if it's a guy's or a girl's elimination.
She asked, she's like, can we find out if this is a guy or a girl elimination?
And he's like,
which
you don't always know what's coming or something like that.
So he said if you're going to come down, you're both on the line.
Which I'm going to pull a hand here and point out that he actually didn't start saying that now's not the time until he realized TJ wasn't going to reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was why Devin was trying to talk her out of it.
Yeah, if it was for sure a girl's elimination, who cares? Like, let her go in and get her skull. But if it was a possibility of a dual elimination or a guy's, there's zero reason for Devin to go in. And
the fact that TJ would not answer Tori's question is what really put Devin on edge. And he was like, if we go down because you want to take the chance at going against Amber, but it ends up being a guy's elimination, he knows he's not going to win against Nelson because Nelson's got an incredible elimination record. He's a lot
really
bigger,
strong.
a lot stronger, just built for Hall Brawl.
Although he's 0-2 in Hall Brawl, though.
Again, regardless, Devin just got his gold skull. He doesn't need to go into another elimination. He needs to try to avoid it from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, if you put Devin in against Nelson, like Nelson's like a 5-1 favorite, like easy. And Tori probably the exact way against Amber M. But he wouldn't say, and so Devin tells her, I'll get you a gold skull, like, let's pass this on because we don't know. And so she's like, hey, we're going to pass it up. And then so Josh starts, like, beating his chest.
Like, making a big show of it.
Of course. Everything's a big show. And so he thinks he's going in, and then Tori's like, we're going to give it to Fessy and Anissa, which, by the way, I had no clue that was coming.
Even Devin looked really surprised.
Well, I mean, he voted for him, too.
After, like, as soon as she said their names, he looked like he was really surprised for a second, and then TJ asked Devin for his vote, which, I mean, there's no point in choosing somebody different.
Well, apparently Fessy had asked her beforehand if he would throw them in.
Did y'all not catch it? Like, when they were walking into that, there was some caption that came up at the bottom where it was a small little, like, 1 or 2 second clip where he said something to Tori about that he wanted it.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that they said he did something like that, but I didn't see where it came from. I thought it was maybe just something off camera. And so for us, it was like completely out of nowhere. And
Nelson looked really nervous at that.
Well, yeah, again, Nelson had a really good shot against everyone else in the house, essentially. And then it's like Fessy is the one guy like you don't want to go against. And so they throw Fessy in.
Well, Tori votes for Fessy, and then Josh gets upset, and he asks Tori to choose him instead, like take her vote back and choose him.
And then he asks Fessy, he's like, "No, give it to me."
And then everybody's like, "That's not how it works."
It's not Fessy's vote. Like, he doesn't get to do that. But also, everyone that I've seen post this episode says Josh did not want to go in.
he was acting like he did so he could have more camera time. He never wanted to go in.
He did it like I could not wrap my head around any bit of Josh this entire episode, but especially here because like he's freaking out with Tori, and then he turns it on Fessy, and then he, in his little confessional, he's like, I feel so betrayed by Fessy for taking this from me. And I was like, why does he think it was that Fessy stole this from him?
Here's the thing, and I think Statman Paul posted it in the Slack group last night. It's so insane that let me find what he said. He said, where's it at? Oh, it may not be in the right thread. We got an East Coast time one and then a West Coast. Here we go. It's like, I don't understand what part of Josh faking wanting to go in and then not wanting to go in is entertaining. Nelson said in a live yesterday that Josh was doing it all for an act, and he knew he wasn't going in because he had talked to Tori. And he also, before that, had said it's so frustrating to watch a guy like Josh because this whole time he's like, oh, I'm being betrayed. These people are setting me up to go into an elimination. And then he's upset that he's not going into an elimination.
Make it make sense.
You can't.
Please. Yeah, and like at this point, we still don't know if it's a guys or girls night. And so Tori kind of explains, she's like, if it's a girls' night, I'm giving Aneesa a really good shot.
Which Aneesa would have destroyed.
Absolutely.
Amber.
She's like, I'm giving my friend a really good shot at getting a gold skull.
She probably would put her like on her shoulder and carried her to the bells.
Exactly. So she in Tori's mind, she's doing Aneesa a favor by giving her a really, really, really good shot at winning an elimination, which she has to go into at some point anyway. So I mean, like it for her, it would be a win-win situation, it regardless. But Nam turned to Aneesa and asks her if she's okay, and she just kind of nods and she's like, yeah, it's okay. And that's when I felt like Tori probably talked to them first.
I don't know. I don't know beyond that. I just know that at that same time, Josh is just like huffing and moaning up there, and then. Like
even Nani was sick of it.
Nani's like, Josh, like, and she's rolling her eyes like, good God, stop. He's like, ugh, and Josh, ugh.
Yeah.
And
he kept doing it. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, it was so.
Again,
it was
when
lot.
Nani's like, let's dial it down a little bit. Like, it's a lot. And so they get down there. TJ tells them it's a guy's elimination. It's kind of what we expected.
Corey looks like he's going to cry.
Well, considering how Nelson went out last season, like it was
hard.
It was a big sacrifice he made, and
Tori at this point is glad that she went with Devin's advice, and then she kind of like nodded her head and looked at him, and he was like, "Yeah, stop being mad at me now."
Yeah, I mean, he was right. Like, there was no reason for them to, like, risk it until they knew for sure what was going to happen. Because
if they had gone down, Devin was probably going home.
It's not even that. It's like, if she votes for herself and him to be the ones, and he votes opposite, like, he doesn't know if that just means they're the ones that have to go in or not, or what. And
or if TJ does what he did last season and be like, you guys can't come to.
Well, it's not even last. That thing happened in like Vendettas where Zach and Amanda couldn't get on the same page, and
he gives them another shot at changing their votes, or if they can't come to an agreement, they're coming down for sure.
Yeah. So again, they got on the same page. So we find out it's Hall Brawl. It's a guys' elimination. It's best of 3, and I mean, there's no other. They have motorcycle helmets on. Which are going to fog up because that visor, and we see that happen. But, I mean, they go at it, and, like, they kind of, like, stall in the middle, and, like, from at least the way it was edited and, like, played out, like, they, like, hung up on each other longer than any other single round of Hall Brawl that I can remember. Typically, you kind of, like, hang in there, and then after a while, like, somebody, like, goes limp or whatever, and then the other person tries to run over the top of them. But like they like locked up and were not moving for a long time.
Well, Nelson's a really good fighter, even though I think Corey said that Fessy had like 50 pounds on him, and he's a bit taller.
I don't know if he quite has 50. He's got weight. He's definitely bigger than him.
Yeah, he's a lot bigger. Fessy's the biggest guy there. I mean, I had really high hopes for Nelson. He got low first, which is what you want to do. And then Fessy, like, picked him up and slammed him on the ground a couple times. And I was like, geez, he's playing kind of dirty.
And Nelson had his visor up so you can see. And, like, at one point, Fessy closed it so it's all fogged up. And, like, and again, he was not doing anything wrong. It wasn't anything against the rules. But at the same time, after he won round one, which, by the way, was very close. It was like split second. After that, TJ did say, like, hey, Fessy, no more, dirty. Thank you. I'm glad you jumped in on that one.
I thought we were going to say it together.
That's never happened. I mean, yeah, it's a good matchup, but I mean, this is one of the eliminations where it's almost always the just like physically bigger person wins, no matter who's more athletic or whatever. Like, we saw Big Easy just destroy Wes in this. And Wes was, like, in really good shape, and Big Easy has honestly never really been in, like, really good shape. But he's just a bigger person. That's why Anissa would have destroyed Amber, because it's always just the person with the most mass typically wins. Now, there may be some like, one or two outliers in this, but
usually whoever is just physically larger is the one that's going to come out on top.
We did have that one. Jake, do you remember what season it was? Was it Rivals 3? Or maybe Rivals 2. It was Rivals 2, I think, where they did, like, the two-person hall brawl. Where I want to say, like, Jordyn and Marlon went up against somebody, and only one of you had to, like, ring the bell so the other one could, like, try to tie the other person up.
Yeah.
I remember that. I don't remember if anyone else went against it, but, like, that is an interesting twist on it. We haven't seen that in a while, but
I like good old-fashioned, simple hall brawl.
Yeah, Oppenheimer or whatever
easy.
they did on Free Agents was the circle version. Like, it is just
it's different, but not quite as good. I don't know. I was rooting for Nelson the whole time. I did not want him going home because, one, I like Nelson. I think he's hilarious. He adds a lot of entertainment to the show. I think he's a great guy. Super loyal friend. We saw him literally throw himself into elimination so that Corey could get to the final last season, which is
one of the most unintentionally funny people that have ever been on the show.
Yes, I'm very sad we're not going to get any more Nelson quotes for the rest of the season. Like, I feel like he went home way too soon.
Well, in your mind, they're a lot weirder than what really happens.
I mean, listen, you can't blame me because we've heard some of the things come out of his mouth. It's not that weird.
You've heard some of the things that have come out of his mouth.
Regardless, we did find out during this elimination that Fessy did actually talk to Tori and ask.
Well, Jake found out whenever they played. We just missed it.
Well, I mean, like, he said specifically in a confessional that he did ask Tori to send him in for Hall Brawl.
Yeah, and so Nelson has a weird concession speech where it's like
TJ asks him for a speech.
I mean, and they do that sometimes, but like the music playing and all that, it was like very like.
I laughed through the whole thing.
Oh, really?
I did. I looked at Zach and I said, this is so over the top, dramatic, and drawn out. I said, I cannot help.
She was laughing so much that I almost paused it to be like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you?
It was so much. I could not take it seriously.
That is just.
I don't
blatant,
even know what he said. I don't have a clue what he said.
Blatant disregard for good old Nelly T's feelings there.
So
am I wrong on that, Zach?
No. Like, I mean, I'm kind of in the middle between both of you. I did not think it was funny, but I also didn't think it was like trampling on his emotions or anything. But Fessy then gets to pick his partner and
ditches Anissa.
I mean, you knew that was coming. I mean, That's like
Anissa knew it was coming, but I think it still hurt her feelings a little bit.
everyone knew it was coming, and it's just funny that instead of just like owning up to it, Fessy's like, well, somebody would have taken me sooner or later.
Yeah, like
he's not wrong, but
he's not wrong, but to say it that way made it seem like he's a little more confident in himself than he needs to be while he's doing something like this. After most of the people in the house are mad at him for apparently asking to go into this elimination.
I'll give him this. I'm not sure how it's going to play out in the long run. But Fessy sure made a move on all fronts. And
I mean, he stole Casey as a partner.
He laid it all out there and was like, all right, I'm going to get my skull, I'm going to pick the partner I want, and then I'm just going to hope that I can run through everyone from here on out.
Look,
and it's very early on.
And I'll just tell you, like, I can't fault the guy, right? Like, I mean, this is very much like you're playing to win $1 million, man. Like,
and I get it. I don't blame him for changing partners. I don't blame any of that. But it's also like, is this the best time to do this?
Maybe not, but it worked.
It did.
For the time being, it worked.
I don't know if I could say that it worked.
It did work.
He got
exactly what
he got
he
his
wanted.
gold skull.
But here's the thing.
And the partner he wanted.
Nobody in the house is going to trust him
That's
now.
the thing.
Jeyyy said it was literally dumb from beginning to end, and I think maybe if he had planned this for a little bit later, it would I could understand. But he burned all of his bridges.
That's the thing, is that it did work. It objectively worked. He got his gold skull and he got the partner he wanted, but it came at the cost of blowing up his alliance with Corey and Nelson, literally sending one of them home. He lost all of his ties to Big Brother except Casey. Casey's worried that they all have a big target on their back now, and everyone else in the house is going to be like, you can't trust Fessy. Kyle's already been on that train, but
Kyle may be able to round up the rest of the house with him.
he's got a good angle now.
Yeah, well, Fessy could have put jelly down first instead of peanut butter, and Josh would have been upset about it. So he was going to get on Josh's bad side either way.
I'm not even talking about Josh. I'm just talking about like.
Yeah, well, I am. I'm just pinpointing
all the other
that.
Big Brother people.
So
like the other Amber, the one with the good hair. She's like,
butt.
Yes, she's the one
that had Bert and Ernie painted on her butt for some reason. I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
because you showed it to me, and I was like, "This is weird.
This is very strange."
Regardless, that Amber, she's from Big Brother, right?
Yeah.
So she's like, I definitely can't trust.
Well,
Fessy.
she's got Darrell as a partner, and so that leaves Leroy empty-handed. So he has to either pick Amber M or Anissa. So you're going to pick Anissa. Yes.
He's friends with Anissa,
but not even that.
Years.
Like, you're going to take. Not even just like stature-wise, you're going to take someone who's done this for 15 years over the first year person who is the smallest girl in the house.
And therein forms the ultimate nobody cares team.
The ultimate, other than Leo, Michi is the smallest guy in the house. And I would say Leo would beat Michi at 9 out of 10 things. Because he's just a professional athlete.
10 out of 10 things.
And so Michi and Amber M are 100% the weakest team in the house right now. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not even close. Both rookies, both tiny, and both
don't have any alliances.
One, Amber has done nothing so far.
Except get into it with Devin.
And Michi had to have the lifeguards come save him from a daily.
I forgot about that.
And so, like, these guys no one thinks of them as a threat. So
Tori is
that's
worried,
where we leave off.
Worried at this point that some of the people in the house are going to target her now because
Josh is going to.
She threw Fessy in.
Again, Fessy's move is going to 100% shake up the alliances in the house. Corey's mad. Big Brother's mad. Anyone involved with any of those are all kind of like up in their own feelings now.
Kyle's been mad.
Kyle's just always upset at Fessy, which is good. We didn't have much Kyle in this episode, but
I hope we get more.
That's the episode. So let's get into the superlatives. And by the way, don't go anywhere because we've got the fantasy stuff coming up. So, for who smashed some heads, I'll go first. I'm gonna have to say,
yeah,
I don't want to necessarily, but I do think like Fessy made his move.
It worked,
and it worked. Yeah, he got the partner he wanted, and he got his gold skull. At the cost of his closest alliance.
My smashed heads was Fessy smashing the whole house's heads and for sending everything up in flames.
Yeah, I mean he just set fire to everything behind him. And is like, I hope this doesn't come back to bite me. Jake, what's yours?
I'm going to give it to Jeyyy for threatening to stick his foot in Josh's mouth and
I will step in your mouth.
Not even giving a crap.
Yeah, that's good. I've heard a lot of different smack talk in my day, and I've
never heard that.
One.
Yeah,
I haven't either, but I may pick that one up.
So for me, for who got their head smashed, I mean the easy choice is Josh, because multiple times in this episode he got extraordinarily upset for no reason, and it might be at his own behest, like he did it to himself, but it's like he's upset at Jeyyy for no reason. Then he's upset with Nany and Casey because they don't agree with him about Jeyyy. And then he's upset that he didn't get to go into an elimination. Then he's upset at Tori because she didn't vote him instead of Fessy. And then he's upset that Fessy didn't vote him in. And then he's just moaning to the world on the rails. And I almost gave it to Nany for that reason, but I gotta give it to Josh when it's due.
I gave it to Josh for smashing his own head because he is coming off of a fight with Devin, so he's still upset with Devin, and then immediately picks a fight with Jeyyy, messes up his alliance with Big Brother people and Nany, and then is somehow upset with Fessy for stealing the elimination from him.
And we see in the preview for next week, him and Fessy get into it, just based on Josh is trying to call him out, and he's like, "You're scared every season." And so that'll come. He's going to get into it with with Fessy more, which means
I'm going to get a lot of points.
Well, which means Casey is in on this as well, and so I think Josh is the easy answer. Jake, what's yours?
I'm giving it to Michi and which Amber is it?
M.
Yeah, for nobody really caring about that team.
That's true. Like, I think you're over-caring by giving them any sort of accolades right now.
Yeah, I can't believe you didn't have Josh.
It was the easy way out.
It is.
Yeah, but
100%.
after this episode being the dumpster fire that it was,
I mean the thing with Josh, like, I mean, I cannot imagine
living in that kind of headspace all the time.
I can't imagine the energy it takes to maintain that level of
insanity.
Not insanity, but just like paranoia and like always having to be in drama with other people around you. Like, it's exhausting.
I'm exactly the opposite. I can't stand to be on edge with anybody.
So, yeah, shout out to Josh. I think he got an apartment today. Good job.
Good for him.
Song
of the week.
Yep. I like that you act like I don't know what's coming in the show.
It's one of my favorite segments
I'm
in the show.
worried you're going to forget.
It happens.
She's looking at me. I have Spotify pulled up on my phone, and she's like, I just didn't know if you'd remember. I don't know.
I have to worry sometimes.
Okay.
I don't know that you have to.
For me, I'm going Ben Teenage Bottle Rocket, the song Headbanger. That's my pick.
Okay. My pick is the song Sinking Me by the band Thousand Below.
I wanna go back later and record over you and make you say something by 1,000 Foot Crutch.
Oh, no. Yes.
No, Sinking Me by
1,000 Foot Crutch.
Thousand Below.
Rock Fist by 1,000 Foot Crutch.
I love this song. It's got a really good beat. It gets really heavy at times. And I know usually the two of you pick heavier songs, and I try to balance it out with something the opposite.
I picked a punk band.
Yeah, the freaking Avett Brothers every other week.
But I haven't done a single Avett Brothers song yet.
Yeah, because you've done enough to last a lifetime.
Shut up, Jake. I did. This is actually.
By the way, the only reason you have not done an Avett Brothers song yet is because you went on a Christmas streak. Otherwise, the Avett Brothers would have been there.
Absolutely.
Right
you don't know. I just have had this song on constant, or this and another song on constant repeat lately, the last few weeks, and honestly, it's something that Jake would probably listen to if he hasn't already.
I'm actually not a fan of Thousand Below Hand. I've listened to.
Okay, I hate you. I really like this song. It's really good.
I am going a different route.
Doesn't fit Crutch.
New year, new me. Right. We're going the hip hop route. Every now and then I get in this little phase where I just want to listen to rap music and stuff.
I almost picked MF Doom just because he didn't. He died on
like 6
Halloween.
months ago.
Okay, no, he died on Halloween.
It feels like 6 months
and
ago.
they didn't. You didn't know about it until last week. They didn't announce it until last week.
So much has happened in this last week. So much has happened.
I like that they didn't announce it for 2 months, and you're like, oh, it felt like he died so long ago, and no one knew.
I didn't say that. I thought it happened in June.
But that still doesn't change the fact they didn't announce it, and you didn't know he was dead until last week. That makes zero sense.
Listen, last week feels like it was months ago.
All right, rest in peace, MF Doom. Jake, what's your pick?
Juice WRLD. The song is called Fast. I just love the chill vibe of it. I'm not going to get real deep about it, but it's just a nice little chill vibe.
Is this the song that you came over yesterday and played?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
He was testing out the speakers.
Zach doesn't like Juice WRLD, I can tell.
I don't think from what I've only heard Juice WRLD on a couple of things, and I don't remember, like, honestly I couldn't tell you one way or the other, but nothing stuck out to me. So I don't know. So we're gonna take a quick break here, and then we're gonna come back with all of the fantasy stuff. We are back. And Jake, do you have everything ready to go?
I'm ready, baby. Let's
I can't see
because
you're remotely away from us.
This is our best segment.
Do you want to kind of tell everybody where the scores are currently at?
Yeah. So after 3 weeks, because we give positive and negative points going from here on out. I'll give you a recap so far. After week 1, it was Hannah had 30, I had 35, Jake, you had 25. And then after week 2, Hannah had 115, I had 0, and you had 55. Mm-hmm. And then we all had – no, you guys both had big negative weeks last week. Oh, I'm sorry, not negative, but just not big scoring. And for me, it was up from the week before. I had 35, Hannah had 30, and Jake had 25. So for the season total, Hannah – is in first place with 145 points. You are in second place with 80 points, and I am in third place with 35 because
you had 0 from week 2.
I had 0 in week 2. Wait, that's not right. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Yes, because you said it exactly equaled 0.
I read these wrong. After week 2, that was our total was 115, 0, and 55. And then last week, the individual scoring was 30, 35, and 25. So our totals are 145, 35, and then 80. Week 2 wiped me out because I had a lot of negatives in that. But we're here at week 4. I made some notes on who's already eliminated or DQ'd as of week 3. So here we go.
Let's go.
All right, I'm going to give 5 points to Devin right off the bat for walking into the house and just screaming, I'm the strongest man in the world.
All right.
5 points to Devin.
I got it.
I want to give 5 points to Tori, Anissa, and Fessy for hot tub combos.
Okay.
Tori.
Anissa is...
I got it. And then Fessy. Okay.
5 points to Tori and Fessy for a possible love connection.
Was she
severely
denied?
She swears they have not had anything going on, but
they're together now.
Yeah, but Corey said that he thinks there was something going on. Like he said in a confessional, he's like, "Yeah, there's something going on there."
If anyone knows about hooking up, Corey hooked up with 3 different girls in like a span of 2 weeks on Invasions.
The same, yeah.
Yeah, well. Speaking of Corey, 5 points to Corey for being concerned about the engagement of Tori and Jordyn.
All right.
He's a good friend.
5 points to Armstrap Liv.
Armstrap.
Yeah, or
Number 9.
Arm Sling Liv.
Good old arm strap.
Yep.
Arm strap live.
I want to give 10 points to. I tell you what, 15 points to Big T for her life story.
Never mind. That would have been a really bad joke.
Oh God.
Just go on.
Let's see here. Let's see.
I don't know what you were gonna say.
And I got to deduct 5 from Devin for the disrespect after the Big T story for just flipping over to Amber M all of a sudden.
Yeah, but that was funny.
Sure, but we just got. Dan, you were on the verge of tears.
Devin's going to get a lot of scoring in this.
5 points to Kyle because everything's funny.
Number 2.
Okay.
I got to give 5 points to Protective Nelson for going to bat for his partner. -5 to Amber M though for cry. Did she actually cry?
No.
No, it was all made up.
All right, well just forget that then.
Okay.
5 points to Devin for his initial reaction to Nelson being this can't be real.
6.
You do more.
You're scrolling down.
No, you do more problems when you're miming things and trying to talk. I get it figured out. What was the score on that?
5 to Devin.
Yeah.
5 to Nelson for. So Nelson was trying to downplay his coming at Devin by saying, "I didn't cuss at you."
I didn't even catch that.
I didn't either.
5 points to Nelson because he didn't curse.
Good job.
We've got Leo in the back brushing his teeth, watching the whole thing. 5 points to him.
I don't know about that.
That
doesn't seem like he should get any points for that.
If I'm giving 5 points to an arm strap,
I think you're being way too liberal with these points.
but they've worked, Zach. This has worked for 3 weeks.
but also you've escalated it every week.
Yeah, we had to cut back a few last week.
I actually cut back a lot this week compared to last week or the week before.
I don't know if you did or not.
We need to keep cutting.
Listen, y'all trusted me with this. Let me do my job.
Go for it.
5 points to Leo for the toothbrush watching.
Yeah.
Let's see. 5 points to CT for donning himself the original gamer.
Got it.
Did we deduct 25 for injury outs?
Let me look at last week.
Because if so, Liv's losing 25.
No, I believe it was
Negative
15?
10. I think it was 10.
Negative
is what
10?
we settled on. Because I have, for Nicole Z last week, I have -5, +5, -5, 20, and then -10, which would have been when she went home.
Yeah, -10 to Liv for the injury out.
Okay.
Let's see. Amber B at one point, it's Darrell's partner, right?
Yep.
Yes.
At one point during the daily when they were doing their whole drone thing said wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Which I thought was funny.
She did, and I thought of that song from a few years ago.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So
whistle part.
5 points to her.
Got it.
I got to give 95 points for awareness by stating that her and Josh are useless in this game.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. So Devin and Tori win, so that's 25 points each.
Yep.
But I feel the need to give them an additional 10 points each for being the only ones that completed it.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because, they were the only team that completed it.
Initially, my note was an additional 10 for being the first to make it, but they were the only ones to make it.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't have either of those people, so that doesn't help me at all.
Another 5 points to Devin. You know, he opened up the episode by screaming, "I'm the strongest man in the world." Another 5 by stating that he's the smartest man in the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I want to give 5 for CT being consistent and continuing to wear the Kangol hat.
I didn't even notice that.
I did.
10 points to Corey and Nelson for the dance-off, but an additional 5 to Nelson for throwing it back.
That helps me because he's going to lose some later.
Yeah. Another 5 to Fessy and Gabby for a possible love connection.
No, he should not get any points for that because every person, including Gabby, was like, this is not going to happen.
You're right. We'll just leave it be.
I think Gabby should get 5 points for seeing right through it.
I think Fessy should get -5.
Okay, so where are we going? 5 to Gabby and -5 to Fessy?
I'm fine with that. They're both on my team. So, like, it doesn't put me at anything. But I do think Gabby deserves points, regardless of whose team she's on. I think she deserves points for seeing through him.
So her only moment of the episode.
I got to deduct 5. Hold on, let's see here. Deduct 5 from Josh for the initial worry over Jeyyy.
-5?
Yeah.
All right.
Jeyyy, upon Josh initially approaching him, gave him this weird squinty face, in a very like fashion. So 5 points to Jeyyy, and an additional 10 for the threat to step in his mouth.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see. Jeyyy thinks Josh is a big baby. 5 points. Also another 5 to Jeyyy for wanting to have conversations like an adult.
Yeah.
And he did pronounce it multiple occasions, adult.
-5 to Josh because he doesn't want to have conversations like an adult.
Well, you can give him that just ongoing for the rest of the show.
But I want to give Jeyyy another 5 because in the same sentence or statement about having a conversation like an adult, he called Josh an idiot.
Which is not untrue, so I don't...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another -5 to Josh for saying he has to brush his teeth as to get out of having a conversation with Jeyyy.
Taking all my points.
Let's see. I want to give 5 points to Corey and Nelson for that hand-holding session, the weird hand-holding session.
Again, apparently dislocated finger.
Yeah.
But we didn't get any context, so
we
it
didn't.
was weird.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna give Josh 5 points here for the Donkey Kong like beating his chest act he had before the the elimination.
Okay.
Let's see. And you know what? Josh being offended at the Tory blindside, I'm actually gonna give him 5 points for consistency here.
Okay.
If anything, he's consistent.
I want to give Nom 5 points for being concerned about Anissa.
Okay.
5 points.
Like, he was genuinely worried about her.
5 points to Nani for getting annoyed with Josh. Just his constant wow, right?
Yeah.
Never thought that day would come.
I want to give 5 points to an emotional, caring, and crying Corey.
Okay.
Wrestling announcer Leo, he gave us a nice little intro into the why do I keep calling it a final?
I don't know.
Into the elimination here. 5 points to Leo.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, 50 points to Nelson, or not Nelson, Fessy for the win.
Yeah.
And -25 to Nelson for the loss. I got to give... Listen, I applaud people for showing their emotions. 5 points to Nelson for the emotional speech.
That Hannah laughed through.
Yeah, that was not the right response. -5 to Fessy because Nelson just straight rejected him.
Oh, yeah.
He did. I did forget about that.
I got to give another -5 because according to Nelson, Fessy lost a friend. So -5 to Fessy.
Yeah, he probably lost Corey, too. So.
Yeah.
Probably.
But 5 points to Fessy for infiltrating. -5 to Amber M because nobody wants her.
That's true. Including Devin early on. That's foreshadowing.
Another -5 to both Mechie and Amber M for the Michi for the what I coined earlier in the episode as the nobody cares team. But you know what? Lastly, a +5 back to Michi for his awareness and saying, I don't know if we're ever going to win any challenges.
He also said they're the smallest team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. Those are your fantasy points.
All right.
didn't do it any. Yes, we did. We did daily win points.
Yeah,
I thought
there's
we did.
only one team that
I
won.
thought we just skipped over it.
All right, so again, that was kind of quick, but we're gonna take. Thanks, Hannah. We're gonna take another quick break so I can add all this up, and we will be right back. We are back, and
Better than ever.
I don't know about that, but we.
I feel better.
The scoring went a lot like it has been. It's week 1 was one way, week 2 was
Definitely one way.
week 1 we were pretty close. Week 2 very lopsided. Week 1 back to the exact same scores. I mean, good God, week 3 was the same as week 1, and then this week very lopsided again.
In whose favor?
Well, so for the week, Jake, you're in the last place for the week. You got 55 this week.
Really?
I got 70. And then Hannah got 135.
Oh, my God.
So Hannah is already in the lead with 145. So now she has 280. Jake, you're in second place with 135, and I am in third with 105 points.
I really hope this is not foreshadowing, because this is week 4, right? And I'm doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Our fantasy league, our fantasy football league this season, I did really, really well the first few weeks. And then just out of nowhere, the bottom fell out. And then I was one of the last 3 or 4 seeds for the rest of the season. And that sucked.
I don't see the correlation.
Yeah, and also I don't remember you being as good as what you think in your mind you were.
I was one of the top 3 or 4 seeds for several weeks in a row.
I mean, so far, you've got a commanding lead, but you haven't had anyone go home yet. Jake and I have both had 2 people go home. As of now, I've had 3 people go home, and no, Jake's had 3. So Jake and I have both had 3 people go home after tonight's episode.
Oh yeah, Liv.
Yeah, and so
see,
you haven't had any yet.
Yeah. Well, I figured since Nelson was on your team, Zachary, that losing him would put you in last place. I figured Jake would have more points than you this week.
Well, Nelson had a lot of other points that kind of offset that, and then Jay got me a decent amount, and then Big T got me 15, and Amber B got 5. So, it kind of added a lot of little stuff. For the week, again, I had 70, and Jake had 55, so I wasn't, crazy ahead of him or anything. But, yeah, we've both had 3 players go home, and you haven't had any. So, that definitely ups your amount. And I still think you have some of the weakest players on your team, but you've had
some of the strongest too.
Fessy and Devin have been the runaway points leaders so far,
and then Cam the last couple weeks.
Cam hasn't done anything. Cam had 0 points this week.
Yeah, this week.
Last week, Cam ended up with 20. And the 2 weeks before combined, she had 15. So I don't know where you're getting that from.
Maybe it's Kyle then.
Well, Kyle went to an elimination and won.
Yeah,
so
but also he had a lot of points from that turtleneck he wore.
So yeah,
Jake, you remember that?
Yeah, he got 5 from that.
Yeah. Again, you had a lot of. You haven't had anyone go home yet. That's the big equalizer. Jake and I have lost a total of 60 points each just from people going home.
And I in particular lost 2 of my top 4 picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wes and Ashley.
I lost my number 5 and number 8 so far. And sorry. I lost my number 2 now, number 5 and number 8. You lost your number 2, number 4, and then number 9 overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Who was my number 9? I don't even remember who that was.
Liv.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, again, it was just kind of like picking rookies at that point.
Oh, God, I forgot she was even on my team.
Yeah, Hannah took Amber M, I took Amber B, and you took Liv. I don't remember exactly what order. But, again, it is what it is. We don't know what's coming. We don't know who wins. We don't know who wins the dailies or the eliminations. So, other than, purposefully giving Hannah Josh because I had the choice to do that because I was the next to last pick.
He's at least been on the board a lot.
This week he was a net negative. He was -5 overall.
Yeah, I mean, well, like, that's to be expected, but there's a lot of points being thrown around with him.
Yeah. I mean, that's for sure. So, again, sorry this didn't come out yesterday. It's a day later. It is what it is. We explained all that earlier. But we do hope you checked out the Devin interview.
Or that you will.
Yeah, and if you want, you can watch it on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube.
You can see Zach and I's faces.
Jake's camera is a little blurry. I'm not exactly sure what was going on with that, but you can see Devin. That's the other thing.
Jake, he just had to throw you under the bus, huh?
No, his connection got weird. I don't know what happened.
He didn't say I was ugly, Han.
Yeah. So, again, make sure to rate and review on iTunes. 5-star reviews really do help. And then subscribe to us everywhere you get your podcasts. And follow us on social media at Smashing Heads on Twitter, at Smashing Heads Podcast everywhere else. And then, if you want, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Smashing Heads Podcast, which, oh, by the way, we I think I told you we got a couple shout-outs, Jake.
Oh, let's go. And you didn't tell me.
I did, but it's been a while. So let's one, we got to give Gabriel a shout out. So you can do that for him.
Hey Gabriel, how you doing tonight?
and then welcome back. Where'd it go? Oh man.
Dang, Zach.
This is what happens when you're not prepared.
This is what happens when Han doesn't make you aware.
Yeah.
This is what
happens when the Patreon app is screwed up. It's a returning patron who was gone for a little bit, and then she's back. It's Sarah Lynn. I just wanted to make sure I got it right. We hung out with them in Nashville. They were a lot of fun.
Hey Sarah Lynn,
welcome back.
Hold on.
Welcome back tonight.
How you doing tonight?
Yeah. So again, we're glad everyone that's jumped.
I'm glad to know we have that effect on people. By the way,
what?
You try to leave, but you just can't help it.
Yeah,
can't help but coming back.
No, we've had a handful of patrons, and like some of them have messaged us, and some haven't. It's your prerogative to do whatever you want, but we've had people that have lost jobs and whatever, and like anything,
that's understandable.
Anything like that we've known about. Like, I've just messaged them and just been like, listen, like, we're not going to kick you out from anything. Like, obviously, if you stop your Patreon subscription, Patreon just automatically does that. But as far as, like, the Slack group and stuff like that, like, you're good. Like, we try to be as accommodating as possible because we love our patrons, we love our community, but we've especially got to really know a lot of our patrons. And so, again, if you want to hear more about testicle infections and Jake's weird dating life
that I am very involved in.
Yeah, we're going to be recording this weekend and have that go up specifically and exclusively on Patreon. So again, patreon.com/Smashing Heads Podcast, and we will be back with you next week.
Oh yeah, next week. Have a good night, everyone.